Hey everybody, I'm the human monster truck, Perry Von Vicious, and what you're seeing behind me here, this is just a selection of my monster truck toy collection. This is what I keep upstairs on display. I try to curate, sometimes I have to swap things in and out because while it is a lot, it is actually a very small portion of what I have. So a lot of these are ones that are particularly important to me, toys from my childhood, toys I wish I had in my childhood, and even ones where I've done custom designs for displays. And you'll see these repeating shelves here. These are from Amazon. They're just some cheapo laser cut. It's a combination of clear acrylic and some very cheap black dyed wood. They're great. They look really nice and they're reasonably expensive. But I do have a problem, and it's that it feels like there's a lot of wasted space. There's a lot of space above some of these toys where more could fit, and it would be nice to be able to display a little bit more here, and even to put some more inside of these shelves to protect them from dust. So we're gonna hop into Tinkercad because I think I have a pretty clever solution for this. All right, before we go digital hopping into Tinkercad, I've got my digital micrometer here, as well as just a pad and a pencil. And I'm going to take some of the critical measurements here. I need depth of the shelves. I need the height of some of the toys in here. And then I also need the length of the shelves. Based on the size of the print bed for my printer, I'm probably going to have to print my little risers in 2 parts. But we'll see. We'll get a sketch drawn up and we'll go over that in a second. All right, so I got all my critical dimensions off of the piece in the other room. And I'm just real quickly going to sort of sketch up what I'm doing here so that when I hop into Tinkercad, it goes very quickly. So essentially what we're going to have is we're making a platform. So we've got sort of our long end, our short end. That's going to be the top. Then we've got these legs that come down. And we need a few different numbers here. First of all, we need this number. We need the thickness of these legs. We need that number, the length. And then we also need, because this is going to be split, we're going to have legs on each end of this so that this is going to be 2 pieces. Which means we also need short end and a long end here. So the numbers that I managed to get there is that the length we're looking for here needs to fall within 282 millimeters. So it's got to be shorter. I always try to break out the digital calipers, the digital micrometer. And I can use this to sort of estimate just by eye what I need there. And I always try to give a little bit of leeway. So if we short each end by, let's call it 4 millimeters, I think that's going to look good. So we're going to need to subtract 8 millimeters off of the total length there. So instead of 282, it's going to be 274. So that's the total length that we're going to want there. So our little half length here, we are going to go exactly half of that. So that's going to be, what's that? We call that, let's see, half of 70 is 35, plus 2 is 37. So 137, which is also really nice. That's going to fit really well on the print bed of my piece. Then we need the outside width of this piece, which I measured the interior of my my shelf space being 70 millimeters. And again, I want to short that just a little bit on each side. I think if we short each side by like 3 millimeters, that's going to be plenty. That'll give us a lot of leeway. So that's 6 total. We're going to call that 64 millimeters, 64. And then now we need the thickness of these pieces. And for that, it's kind of important. I had to take the measurements of the individual toys that are on there because I don't want them having trouble fitting between here. With the tractors, that's going to be a little bit tough because they can be kind of wide, but I can position them in ways where it won't be an issue. That said, I do have the depth on those, and I know that we want these, because these are going to be just square, we want these to be somewhere right around 3 or 4 millimeters, maybe 5. I'm going to look at my sizing here and see what looks good to me. I think we can get away with 4. We're going to call it 4 square. 4 by 4. All right. And that is really all we need. This is going to be super fast and super easy. I do have one little clever take I want to do with it that's going to make it kind of more interesting than it might be otherwise. But I've done a bunch of the pre-work already. This stream, honestly, is mostly so that I have some footage to use in a longer build video of this project. So we're in Tinkercad. And we're going to go ahead. We only have to design one object because then we're going to be able to go and kind of just copy and paste and print multiple of them. It's going to be interchangeable, left side, right side. You'll see what I'm talking about. So the first thing I need is we are going to make our base, and the base is going to be, and I have all my, again, I have all the measurements here already. We are going to go 64 millimeters deep, and then it's going to be, each piece is going to be, we decided those were 91, so 137 millimeters long. I clicked out of it there for a sec. All right, here we go. 137 millimeters long. And then for thickness, some of this I get to kind of make up as I go. So I always keep my digital micrometer nearby so that I can kind of just make the decision on the fly. We're going to call this 5 millimeters thick. It doesn't have to be thick at all. So we're going to go ahead and make that just 5, nice and little. All right, and that is the basis for our shelf. Now, each shelf on my little Amazon shelf will need 2 of these to reach all the way across. We're going to get to that in just a second. So for right now, what I want to do though, my biggest concern with this is I want light to get through really well. I want to still be able to see what's below the objects that are on this shelf. The more shelves you put in, the less light gets through from layer to layer. So we are going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in a hole. And I'm going to place it. I'm not real worried about where it gets placed at the moment. We're going to switch out of lenticular view here. And what's nice about this is I kind of get to just make this one up as I go. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll call it like there somewhere. And then something like that. And I don't want this to necessarily have sharp corners. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of a radius. And just to show you what that does, bring that down to 0. We're going to zoom way in. You see these sharp corners on there. We're just going to bevel those just a little. Just enough so that it's going to look kind of cool. This is going to end up kind of looking a little bit like the wall panels in the Death Star in Star Wars. So let's get our top view here. Actually, we're going to come to the side and we're going to move this down so that it is clear through the piece. We don't want the ends, the beveled ends to touch. We only want the beveled sides touching. So we're going to come up to the top here. I'm going to duplicate it, move it up to, let's call it there, why not? And then I can just boom, 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 boom. And we're going to call that enough. And now I'm going to select all of those. And we're just going to make it more or less centered. It doesn't have to be exact. You know, these little slots are actually going to be quite small when all is said and done. So I'm going to deselect, I'm going to get back up to the top again, zoom out just a little bit. And now I'm going to select all of those again. I'm going to duplicate those. And now we're going to come over and create another row, just like that. And then I'm just going to do it again. Now I can readjust these so that they all sort of fit well. So let's get all of these on.
And what I think I'm actually going to do is just make the middle ones shorter. Because again, I don't mind if these are not fully even with each other. All right, so that is our plate. And in fact, yeah, okay. And in fact, I'm actually going to go a little bit shorter on each of these as well, just to get it a little bit of space away from the edge. Again, these not being exact really doesn't matter that much. All right, we're going to call that pretty good. What's nice about this is these are going to print real fast. They don't have to be printed in super high quality. And because I have black filament, they're going to match the shelves I already have. And they're going to buy me like double the storage space on my toy shelves, which for some people would not be necessary. But for me, it's becoming a bit of a problem. All right. So now I've gone ahead and I've created another square here. And this is going to turn into our legs. Call it, what's that, 50, we'll call it 54. 54 works. All right, and then we are going to make this just square by itself, and it's going to be, we decided it's going to be 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters. Not, really small, but again, these are just going to be little, think of them like table legs. Okay, let's get our top view here. It's looking pretty good, and we're just going to line it up right to the corner. And then I'm going to duplicate that, bring it up to there, deselect, select both, duplicate those. Now these don't go all the way to the end. These actually stop shy so that when the two shelves come together, it looks like the thing below it is split into 3 sections instead of 2. And that's because of the length of the toys that are displayed underneath. I don't want like a vertical kind of in the middle of your view. All right. So I decided that each section needs to be 91 millimeters. So we have both of those selected, and we're going to move this down. It should tell me when I've hit 91. 91. There we go. Boom. Just like that. And that is it. That is the design for the shelf. And to display what it's going to look like, I'm going to real quick go ahead and group this. All right, now we're getting somewhere. It is going to be kind of black when it's all said and done. And we're going to flip it vertically here so that you can see. And even in the I love this, that in the sort of display from Tinkercad here, you can see the shadow that light is getting through. That was my main goal there, was to make sure that light gets down onto the toys in the lower display. What's nice about this is that I can easily adjust this later. I can come back in, make it taller, make it thinner, do any adjusting that I need. Now, if it looks weird with this one side off here, the simple explanation for that is that my print bed is too small to print the full length of my display shelves. So what I actually have to do is I have to put two of them next to each other. And so they are going to sit on the shelf like that. They're going to be right next to each other. There will be a toy here, a toy here, a toy here, and then toys across the top. And I believe, I'm going to check it now because this work plane is about the same size as my print bed on my printer. I believe that I can fit both on the print bed at once. I can print them at the same time. So I should be able to do that. And I should have a working prototype printed like, I mean, this doesn't have to be printed in that high a quality. I can probably have my prototype on this done like tonight, maybe even like after my workout. So it's nice. This was like one of the quickest projects I think I've ever done.
All right. So it is the next morning, and we've got the piece ready to come off the printer here. Just gonna pull these off the print bed, and these look great. And they're gonna stand just like that. Oh, this looks really promising. All right, let's get these up and try them out on the shelf, maybe populate it with some toys. So I'm super happy with how this turned out. I think this lets me display a lot more in a very small space. And I'm gonna print more for the rest of the shelf. And that's gonna buy me a lot more room to display a lot more of these toys. If you enjoyed this, if you thought this was helpful, if you'd like to see the models yourself so you could print them, let me know in the comments. And, you know, like, share, subscribe. It helps my channel, and I'm going to keep doing goofy, weird projects just like this.
Hi, I'm Perry Von Vicious, and I'm a human monster truck. Vroom vroom. Buy my merch. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And make sure you catch my Twitch live stream.